Welcome to the Biz Builders podcast, where we believe building the business of your dreams can change your life. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former teacher turned certified life and business coach. After 14 years of teaching, I took a huge leap, left my job, and built 2 successful businesses with no business or sales background. Now I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm ready to help you do the same. You're in the right spot here if you're ready to dig into not only the strategy of business building, but also the belief in yourself that building a business is possible. You're made for this, and you've got exactly what it takes to create the financial, time, and location freedom you're craving. Over here, we value progress over perfection. We embrace being uncomfortable, and we believe that anything, literally anything you want, is possible for you with the right strategy, mindset, and support. You'll also hear inspiring stories here and, of course, failures of women who are doing the same thing. The whole idea is if she can do it, so can I. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Biz Builders podcast. Like always, I am so happy you are freaking here today. I'm always happy you're here wherever this podcast finds you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, and let's just dive right in. So I'm super stoked today. I have been doing a lot of reflecting as we do. And as I was thinking about, another offer, a new offer, like what am I going to offer next? What sounds good to me? What sounds exciting? What sounds fun? I did a lot of reflecting on my journey to get to where I am. And people ask me often and will say things to me like, wow, you've accomplished so much in, the past few years in your business. Like, wow, how did you do that? And it's such a loaded question because I think there are so many different things that go into where essentially we are right now. It's strategy, it's the people that you surround yourself with, it's your belief system, it's what you believe is possible, and just so many other different things that come into play here. But as far as my journey and becoming full-time online, there is a piece of this that I get asked often, and I think that it's funny because it's been it's just been a pain in my ass since for a while. So let me take you back a little bit. So as far as my content journey goes, so I started off on Instagram. Instagram is my jam. It always has been. I enjoy Instagram. I like Instagram. Instagram's my place. Okay. So I started off on Instagram before it was even considered a place to market or a marketing tool. So I started my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram today and you scroll way back, back in the day, I was on there before things got a little crazy, right? Where it didn't matter if your feed was cohesive or well branded, you would see things in chronological order. So you would scroll and then you would get to a point that said okay, perfect, you're all caught up. And then that was okay, perfect, I can put it away now and be done with it. It is clearly not like that now anymore. It is very, very different. It is a very different landscape on Instagram. It has changed a ton. And now it's basically it's used as a marketing tool, right? Which is amazing. And I think that it is so cool that this app and this tool can help connect us with people from essentially around the world and to help people all over. And it's how I've become connected with so many of my amazing clients, with so many amazing coaches that I've even, work with as well. And so I think it is a really, really beautiful tool. And people tend to ask me a lot, they'll say things like, oh my gosh, Sandy, you're so good at creating content, or your feed is so well branded. It's so beautiful. And there was a huge part of me that for a very, very long time, I felt like an imposter. I am good at creating content. Yes. I can definitely create content that's pretty and that's branded and that's edited and that's all the things, whatever. I can do that. But for a long time, my content, despite all of those compliments that I would get from people, my content did not do what it is intended to do. And that is to start conversations with people, to build relationships with people, to get to know people, and to essentially bring in new dream clients and to make sales. And I view my Instagram now as a very much like living, breathing portfolio of my work and what it's like to work with me and my results and my client results and just really what it feels like to be in my world. And I'm really, really proud of what my content has become, but it hasn't always been that way. And I was going to tell you, so if you scroll like way back on my Instagram, like way far back, like years and years and years ago, like I started my Instagram initially as like a teacher Instagram to connect with other teachers. It was when I was in the classroom, and then it became a spot to like share ideas and to share cool things. And then it kind of evolved from there when I started selling resources on Teachers Pay Teachers. It became a spot for me to share about those things. And then it became a spot for like ed tech stuff. And then now it's my coaching home, right? It is my coaching home to help new business owners or new coaches build the businesses of their dreams, right? And it's like I said, I'm really proud of what it's become. So anyways, if we're talking about like what it used to be and the compliments that I would get from people about like, oh my gosh, your feed is so great, but it wasn't actually doing what it was supposed to do. So I had to get really like honest with myself about like, okay, like, yeah, you can post consistently. Like that's clearly not a problem for you. You can also create beautiful content that is well branded, but if it's not doing its purpose here, it's essentially kind of a waste of time, right? Because you guys all know, like in business and in life, we don't have a whole lot of time to spare. Like it's very, like we got to use our time wisely and we got to get the most bang for our buck. So as far as the content goes, when I look back on my journey now compared to even just 6 months ago, or definitely a year ago, my content has come a long way. And the reason I know that it has come a long way is because I've worked around a lot of the mindset things that I see a lot of new coaches and even seasoned coaches kind of dealing with when it comes to marketing their services on Instagram as far as their content and their messaging. And these things that come up for most people and these are all absolutely 100%, I am like owning these things because these are all things that I absolutely worked through, and it took me a long time to work through these things. And that's essentially why I'm sharing it with you here today, because I don't want you to waste any time. I want you to move faster. If you can do this faster than I can, like by all means, please go. And I'll be like really, really real with you too. Like I remember like when I shifted my Instagram into being like more coaching focused and more of like selling and marketing and like my offers and things, there were a couple people who kind of started doing the same thing that I did, like colleagues of mine, essentially, who we knew each other on Instagram, or we would see each other, we would connect, we would talk, share and just, say hi or whatever. But I realized that those people, their content kind of like, we'll just say like it popped off and it took off a lot faster than mine. And I'm not saying this to like be like, oh, I was comparing myself, or oh, like I was like, why is it working for them and it's not for me? Of course, those things crossed my mind, but that's not the purpose of bringing this up. The purpose of bringing that up is because I had to get really real with myself and be like, what is happening here? Like, what are you missing that they have or that they're doing that you should essentially and could be doing as well to kind of move the needle forward and to, again, get the content to work for me, to do the thing it's supposed to do, which is build relationships, get clients, start conversations, make sales, like all of those things. So I realized that there were a lot of mindset things that were tripping me up. And these are things that I see quite often. So things like, I'm just going to tread really lightly. Like I was the girl growing up. I was the person in our family who was quote unquote the good girl. Like I didn't get in trouble. I followed the rules. I was an A+ student. I did not, stir the pot. Whereas, like my sister, like she's the crazy one. Like she was the one that was always getting in trouble. She was the one that was like, wild and out of control. And I was the good one. So I know that like for me, I was like, okay, I gotta like tread lightly. Don't step on anybody's toes. Don't irritate anybody. That obviously like comes from this idea of like who I am, and I tread lightly. So, okay, so tread lightly in your content. I'm going to be really careful as to not like offend anyone or irritate anybody, or, I'm just going to be really, really vanilla and really chill and not, like I'll just keep doing what's comfortable. And what was comfortable at the time was like, sharing like the value posts or like 5 tips to whatever, like that is very safe. So going outside of these things and like sharing your opinion or sharing what I really thought or talking how I would actually talk in real life, those were all things that were very, very scary for me. There was a lot of fear and a lot of mindset things that I had to work through. And essentially what those things do though, what they did for me and what they're probably doing for you is staying in this, like, I'm going to tread lightly. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to just do what's comfortable and do what I know and do the value posts and just kind of just be like this really happy place. That is exactly what was keeping me in the friend zone. Right? So it was keeping me in the friend zone in a sense that like people were like, oh yeah, like your content is so pretty. You're so good at creating content. You're so consistent. Like, wow. Okay, great. But like, if it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then like, it's a waste of time. So I was in the friend zone, and the people, like I said, that I was comparing myself to, they weren't in the friend zone. Like they were starting to make sales. They were having all these conversations. Their DMs were full of like people inquiring about, ooh, what does this look like? And for me now, my content is doing what it's supposed to do now, but the reflection piece is like, well, what had to shift? Like what got you out of the friend zone? And this was a journey for me that's taken a while, and it's an evolution, right? We're still working. We're always evolving. We're always growing. We're always getting better. But I realized that I was presenting myself in my content as a beginner because I saw myself as a beginner. Okay. So like, I didn't see myself as an expert. I did not see myself as an authority. I did not see myself as somebody that could like get up and be like, yes, I wholeheartedly believe in this. And I wholeheartedly know that I can help you with this problem. Right. And because I was seeing myself as a beginner and presenting myself that way in my content, because of these mindset things, it had me in the friend zone, and it had my content not doing what it was supposed to be doing. And that led to really watered down content. It led to like content not sounding like me, essentially. So it was like, it just didn't sound like me. Like if you were to sit down with me and have a conversation with me, like at happy hour, my content didn't sound like that. It sounded like very refined. It sounded very, almost like book smart. Like I would use words and I'd be like, I would never, ever use that word like in real life. So there was this journey of like figuring out what's your voice? What is like, how do you want to be visible? How do you want to be seen? And then it's safe to be seen in that way, and it's safe to be visible. And the other thing that I see too, so like this friend zone and like showing up as a beginner. So it's like a lot of watered down content, a lot of like not saying what you want to say, a lot of not sharing your opinion, a lot of like generalized content. So like, oh, I'll just like talk to any, so this could be for anybody. And it's not really super specific, and a lot of like reposting things. I see this very, very often. Like if I were to go to your stories, am I seeing you sell your offer? Am I seeing you own your offer? Am I seeing you live out the transformation that you provide? Or am I seeing a lot of like reposted things from other people, or things that you think were funny or really inspiring, or that maybe, yes, align with your brand values and your like mission and all of that stuff and what you do, but it's not necessarily yours, it's somebody else's. So these were all things that I like had to really look at. And when I think about my journey and how I became full-time online in my coaching business, because I work my coaching business full-time, I have the most incredible clients. And yes, now my content is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I had to really look at like how I got there. And the content piece was a part of it, outside of like having the foundational pieces set up, like my signature offer, like a really solid sales process about an offer suite that is set up to really support me financially in a way that I want to feel and be supported. But the content piece of it, and I think that this bleeds out into everything, but the content piece was part of it. And this is really what I wanted to zoom in on with you, because it's what I get questions about from my current clients very, very often. And this is like a two-part thing. So outside of all the foundational pieces, the content piece was part of why I feel like I was able to go full-time online, because I'm able to use my content to now do its job and do its thing and pull people in. And even content that I create or created months and months ago is still out there, is still doing its job, and is still like working. And that goes both with content on Instagram, it goes with content here on the podcast, it goes with emails, and those are like my three main ways to connect with you. So there's two parts to this, right? If we're just breaking down the content part of it and how the content helped me become full-time online, there's two parts to this. This is twofold. So number one is I had to start seeing myself as an authority, right? Like I had to get out of that beginner, like you're just a beginner, you don't really know what you're talking about, who's going to pay me for this? Like, well, like, how am I, all of those thoughts that come up. And what that did when I started to see myself as the authority, that's where the content actually started to do its job, where it started to start conversations. It started having people reach out to me. It started having people, drop into my DMs and be like, hey, I'm interested in this. What could this look like for me? And that essentially is what transformed the specificity in my content. And it allowed me to call people out, call my ideal client out, my dream client out in my content. It created a sense of confidence just around creating content in general, and finding a flow to that, and not having it be this big ordeal and this big process and this big oh my gosh, I can't, this is something that I have to do and I just have to check it off the list. And what am I going to post today? And how am I going to say it? And what am I going to say? And is this the right thing? Seeing myself as the authority is what transformed these underlying pieces of the content. But then the question becomes, and this is the second part of it, is well, okay, Sandy, that's cool. But how do you see yourself as the authority? How do you start to see yourself as not a beginner? That's the magic question, right? And the answer to that, I am convinced, is number one, taking messy action. That is always what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm always going to be just do it. Just move, because you're going to learn so many things in the process, and it's not going to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. It probably won't be pretty, but the movement is what creates the confidence. The action is what creates the confidence. And so that's part of it. But also the other part of this is being able to talk out all of these mindset things that I mentioned in the beginning. Being able to identify why it is I needed to, or I felt like I needed to tread lightly, why I feel like I need to be careful, why I felt like I needed my content to be refined and sound really smart and professional. All of those mindset things, all of these thoughts, having a space to talk this out was pivotal for me in my content, because the second that I stepped into a space that I was able to be hey, this is what's coming up for me. I don't know why this is coming up. Can we please talk this through? And having somebody else, having a space where I could hash things out and where somebody else could reflect back to me and be oh yeah, this is probably why you're seeing this. All of these thoughts of I'm afraid to post this. I'm scared to be visible. I'm afraid to really narrow it down because I don't want to exclude anybody. All of those thoughts, all of those things were running in the background of my mind as I was creating content. And all of those thoughts, those beliefs are essentially what was holding me back from creating content that, number one, feels authentically like me, that feels easy to create, and that's just like, it's just me sharing. Like, that's all really content is, right? If you pull everything else back and you take everything else out of it, it's just me. And so the visibility part of it is like, it's scary, right? Like, I get it. It's scary to feel vulnerable. It's scary to feel like you feel almost like naked in front of like a bunch of people. Like there's a vulnerability to it there, especially since the way that our brains are wired, like we're not wired to connect with hundreds or even thousands of people like we can on Instagram at a time. We're wired to connect with a very small group of people. And so being able to talk through all of that shit, all of that mindset stuff that comes up was really the game changer for me. And it allowed me to begin to see myself as the authority alongside the messy action that I was taking. And so to come full circle with this, like I said before, like, I don't want you to have to waste any time I don't want you to have to waste another second, like in these thoughts or letting these things kind of control how you show up in your marketing, in your messaging, in your content. Like, I want you to be able to be really potent and to say exactly what it is that you want to say and to say it how you would say it, because that's exactly what's going to draw in your dream clients. That's what's going to start the conversations. That's what's going to build the relationships. That's what's going to pull your people in to do collaborations and for people to be like, ooh, I really resonate with that. It's this very like bland content that isn't doing anything, that's going to have people reaching out to you but saying, hey, I like your content, it's really good. Like, I like your feed looks really pretty, nice work, wow, you're really good at posting consistently, I wish I could do that. Like, those things are not helpful for me in my business. Like, those I just, okay, great, like, but I want it to do its thing. And so when I thought about my next offer, I thought, you know what, I'm going to create the space here that's going to allow you a space to come in and to talk about these things, to talk these things through, that whether or not you're admitting it or not right now, they are coming up for you. And no matter how seasoned you are in creating content, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to get a little more specific. There's always room to get a little more potent. There's always room to add a little more like, ooh, like, wow, like, who is this girl? Like, I need this. And that's really what this next offer is about for me. And this is the first mini mind space that I have ever ran. And if you're wondering, I'm calling it from friend zone to full time, because essentially this is exactly what happened for me. I went from the friend zone for a long ass time, probably longer than I should have, to being able to be full time online because of this piece of the puzzle, right? This specificity piece, this messaging piece, this part of the puzzle that allows me to show up on socials, on Instagram, here on the podcast even, and just with my people, and to be authentically me. But you have to have a space to be able to talk it through. So from friend zone to full time, it's a mini mind. And I realized too, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, mini minds are the greatest thing because they are short-term spaces. So it's not a long-term commitment. It's very much like in and out. We're in it together. We're side by side. And it's very, very potent and it's very, very focused. But you guys also know me. Like, there is no question that's off the table. So this is an opportunity. Like, if you've been thinking about like, I would really like to work with Sandy, but I don't know if it's like the right thing. This is a perfect preview. A mini mind is a perfect preview of what my support is like. Because with my clients, it is not a situation where you like show up on Zoom and then you click the little like raise hand and then you get to ask your question and then you get to answer. This is like you and me, like freaking in it together. Like, I am right by your side. We're pulling up Google Docs. We're pulling up Canva. We're mapping out line by line. You're sending me your content or your most recent post, or you can say, hey, Sandy, can you go look at my stories? And I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you very, very specific feedback for how to, both strategy wise, like how to make it more specific, how to make it more potent, how to make it more clear, how to make sure that it's very, very understandable that you have this offer that can transform someone's life and that transformation is really, really clear. But it's also a space for you to come and talk through the things that are coming up when you go to do these things and you have resistance. And it's all good. None of this is like good or bad. It is all just part of the process. And I want you to be able to like just move and go and show up as you, because I know you. If you are here right now, I know that you are an incredible human being. I know that you have so much to offer. I know that you're also so unique and so special. And I want that for you. I want your content to be reflecting that. I want your content to be a little window into what it's like to be in your space, because you are, like I said, you're so special, you're so unique, and what you have is so incredible, and it is so life-changing. And I know that about you. I already know that about you. Even if we've never talked before, I know this about you. So this is one opportunity. And I'm going to say this, if you're like, wow, that sounds really cool, whatever. If you take nothing else from this and you're like, I don't want to be in your mini mind, Sandy, no, thank you. Like, don't know. That's totally fine. But what I will say to you is to take a look at those thoughts, those mindset things, those beliefs that you're holding on to about how you're supposed to, I'm using air quotes here, how you're supposed to show up, or what the quote unquote right way to show up is, and do a little digging and try to understand a little bit more about where the resistance is coming from, why it's there, and it's there for a purpose, right? It's there to keep you safe. It's there to keep you in this comfortable zone, which is all good. But I really encourage you to find a space, whether it's my mini mind space, whether it's my mastermind space, whether it's one-to-one coaching, whether you just want to shoot me a message over on Instagram, totally fine. Or if it's a completely other space, but find a space where you feel safe and you feel comfortable to talk these things out and to work through them, and where somebody can sit with you and is willing to get in it with you. And when I say in it, I mean in your business with you, so they understand really clearly who your ideal client is, what you're doing, what you're trying to build, what your business model is, and also who you are as a person. So you can essentially move those little blocks out of the way and show up and start to see yourself as the freaking authority that you are. You already have all the knowledge. You already have everything you need to make this work. Like, you don't need another certificate or another course or another class or another degree. Like, you have it in you right now, but you need someone to sit here with you and help you see that you are the expert, you are the authority. Because until you start seeing yourself in that way and you're able to talk through these things, it has to come from within you. That energy has to come from within you. And I already know that you have it in you. So, big takeaways from our little chitty chat today here are: identify the resistance, right? Like, look and see what those little issues are in your head. And they're probably running and you don't even notice them. But the way to notice them is to kind of pull up for a second, slow down a little bit when you are creating content, when you're creating messaging, and like what you're going to say around an offer that you have, when you're getting ready to put it out into the world. When you do those things, is to just pause and be like, is there any resistance? I know for me, I'll feel it like in my gut. And typically what I do, I know like my pattern is I'll feel it and then I'll just push it to the side and be like, just keep going. And that whole little process happens within like less, like a half a second. Like, it's a very quick process, but I'm tuned into it now. So I know, like, I can stop myself and I can be like, okay, hold on, wait a second. Where's that feeling coming from? What's the resistance and what's the thought? Like, what are you believing right now has to be true? What are you believing about the right or wrong way? And if you are craving a space that we can do this together. And you're like, oh my gosh, Sandy, yes, yes, yes to all of this. And you're interested in joining this From Friend Zone to Full-Time Mini Mind. It is launching. We're starting on March 31st. Get into my DMs now, because whenever you're listening to this, it's going to be the lowest price that it's going to be. So get in there. We can have a conversation about if this space would be a good fit for you and for I together to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Because really, like, it's really about, if your content, like if you're posting consistently and not seeing sales, like these little things need to be cleaned up. And of course, we're going to talk through all the mindset stuff, but we're also able to talk about the strategy stuff, the different buyer types, the different types of content, how you post content, when you're posting content, where you're posting, like all of the logistical strategic things. We're absolutely going to go over that. But I really feel like it's this like way of being, and this visibility and the vulnerability and the authenticity that comes with creating content and messaging that's going to have your content like popping off. So other people look at you and go, whoa, damn, like, how is she doing that? That's amazing. And it comes with specificity. It comes with being really potent. It comes from getting really, really clear on who you're talking to, and then being unapologetically unafraid to just speak to that person because you know her or him so well. So yeah, jump into my DMs if that's something that's you are interested in. It's going to be 4 weeks. We're going to do live calls on Mondays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be Voxer support. So we're in it again. It's a short-term space, 4 weeks where we're going to get in and out. We're going to transform your mindset around how you see yourself and how you show up. And we're also going to start to include like the solid strategy. So instead of just being consistent, you're going to be intentional now. Like, it's not just about the consistency and throwing stuff up and checking that off the list. It's going to be about being intentional, about being thoughtful, and about being specific in your messaging so your content can do its job, girl, because we don't have time to waste. We already know that. So hop into my DMs. I would love to hear from you. And even if you're like, I don't want to join the mini mind, you can hop into my DMs anyway. I'm always an open book. Ask questions, ask away, or even just let me know what resonated with you from this episode. And I hope your big takeaway is to just pay attention to any resistance that's popping up, and then to be able to have a space to talk it through, whether that's with me or anybody else. Talk it through, because that's the way to move through it, is to go through it, right? So I love you guys. I cannot wait to hear from you, and have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever it is. I love you so much. I'll see you next time. And yeah, go and get out there and get visible, right? Okay, love you guys. Bye. Thanks for listening, you guys. If you're ready to get your business going and making money, and to step into that next level version of you, I would love to support you make that happen through strategy, mindset work, and my Cut the BS style coaching, because it's always better, quicker, and more fun to have someone who's already been through it support you. Shoot me a message over on Instagram with the word ready, and we can chat and get your questions answered about coaching and how I can support you. I cannot wait to hear from you.